Growing up, I ate this many times in a homely Peranakan restaurant called Ivin's. It's a dish that I rarely see nowadays outside, so I made it at home with the same flavors but in my own way. So first, I'm gonna make the broth for our Bakwan Kepiting soup. We are gonna saute pork bones as well as the prawn shells. So for this, we are using low heat so that you just get a bit of the caramelization and you don't burn the pork bones and the prawn heads. You just want to give the prawn heads a little bit of a color so that you extract the nice prawn flavors. So I like to season along the way. This is to build the flavor, but I don't want to over season at the end. So now I'll be adding the chicken stock powder. I actually like to put in the sauce when it's hot so that it kind of like caramelizes the sauce. Okay, so the saute is almost done. I'm just gonna increase the heat a little bit before I add in the water. So after this, I'll bring it to a simmer. We will let the flavors develop while I go on to the next step. Okay, so next, we will start preparing our ingredients for the meatballs. So bamboo shoots, you can actually get it fresh, but I actually prefer to use it from the can because it does probably have less of a smell. So I'll cut the bamboo shoots in two ways. The first one would be sliced, and the second one will be more of a fine dice. The fine dice is to put it in the meatballs with the other ingredients, while the longer strips, I will put it in the soup. So next, I'll also be adding prawns into the meatballs. You just want to slightly rough chop them so that you have the nice crunchy flavor of the prawns, which you can taste in the meatballs as well. Once you buy them fresh, you actually want to chop off the head as soon as possible. This is because if you leave the head and then you put it in the fridge, right, they actually start releasing a chemical which goes into the prawn meat and starts to degrade the meat. Traditional recipe, they will ask for steamed flower crabs. It is a bit too much work, given that everyone is busy with their lives. So what I have here is actually frozen crab, which have already been kind of like shredded. We can use it directly in the meatball. So if you realize when you buy frozen crab from the supermarket, they always come with this like sauce at the end. It tastes quite good, so you don't really want to waste it. What it can do is actually you can pour the remaining sauces into the soup to make the soup a little bit more sweet. This mixture of different ingredients actually makes the whole flavor profile much more robust. I'm not just doing it for fun. If you see the texture before and after and you compare it side by side, you can see at the start there are a lot of the tiny, small air pockets within the meatball. After a while of doing this whacking motion, you actually find that the paste starts to be more cohesive. This is because you are actually pushing the air from the meatballs out of the meatball. Some recipes, they actually make the meatballs slightly smaller. For me, I prefer something that is a bit larger in size. This not only looks nicer on the plate, when you bite into it, you can have that nice meaty flavor that overflows into your mouth. You don't have to make it so perfect. You can do whatever size you want. You can also ask your friends or your family to help you along with the recipe. So after boiling and simmering the stock for 30 minutes, we can strain the stock by removing the prawn heads, the shells, and the pork bones. So for Bakwan Kepiting, it's a bit difficult to find the more authentic recipes. This dish is hard to find in Singapore these days. So my dad is Peranakan. I don't know if I can call myself a Peranakan. I guess I'm like a diluted Peranakan. When I meet someone who is Peranakan, I try to ask them questions as to how do you cook this dish? A lot of times they become very excited that someone is actually interested in their cuisine. So now that the bamboo shoots have been sauteed, we can add in the prawn stock. Bring the soup to a boil. We can then add in our meatballs. We just give it a short simmer, maybe for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then you are done. Come try.
This is like the third time, but still as good as new.
I really enjoyed recreating this dish. Let me know what dish you would like to see next.